What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and here we are in the middle of E3, and unfortunately, like I mentioned before, I didn't get a chance to check out all the different conferences. Now, there were a few that I had no interest in whatsoever, like EA and Ubisoft, but there's a few that I did have a passing interest in, but didn't get a chance to watch live. However, I have gone back, sat down, got a chance to watch them in my own time, took some notes, and we'll take a quick look at everything going. First up is the Bethesda showcase. So they opened up with Elder Scrolls Blades, which is the mobile game. They've announced some upcoming new stuff in it too. Not much to talk about really. PvP, custom jewelry editions, solo arena. Most of that will make sense to you if you play the game. I haven't. Obviously, I know what PvP is, but I don't know about solo arena or how the jewelry system works. As well as the announcement that it's coming to Switch, and that the Switch version will have cross-play and cross-progression with the mobile version. So if you play currently on Android or iOS and you want to get a Switch, you can start playing now, and then your progress and all will carry over. It's going to be coming out on Switch in autumn of 2019. That's fall for you American weirdos out there. Because leave fall down. And then they moved on to Fallout 76, which, surprisingly enough, has some decent content updates designed and added and planned to come forward. Now, there's a big funny thing about this, which we'll get to at the end of the Fallout 76 section, but let's take a quick look at it anyway. First off, they went with what they're calling the Wastelanders update. It's a huge update. It's going to have lots of new content and stuff in it as well, including human NPCs and new quest lines relating to them and just quest lines in general. It's going to have new main story quests. There's going to be choice-based systems and consequences of your choices, as well as branching dialogue and everything, just like you'd expect from Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, that kind of stuff. The big Wastelanders update is going to be hitting in autumn of 2019, and there's also going to include a new mode at some point too, called Nuclear Winter. And of course, because it's every game that's online and multiplayer in 2019, Nuclear Winter is a 52-player Battle Royale mode. That's right, 52-player Battle Royale in Fallout 76. That one guy who still plays the game is going to be looking for those other 51 players for a long, long time. It also has a free-to-play week going on right now because of E3. So if you do want to jump in and check it out, I highly recommend you don't, but the option is there. Now, one thing I think is especially funny, Fallout 76 launched to massive critical panning late last year at the end of 2018. Based on everything they've added in post-launch, as well as all the upcoming stuff that they're talking about now, if they had just delayed the game by a year and launched it at the end of this year, 2019, with all the additions that they put in and everything in the meantime, it might have actually been a serviceable game at launch, instead of being a permanent black mark. But I don't know, just woo lad is all I can say. But moving away from Fallout 76, they got Shinji Mikami out on the stage. Mr. Resident Evil himself, and the founder of Tango Gameworks, and he came out to talk about their new game, or at least introduce their new game, because someone else had a lot more to say about it. So Mikami introduced Ghostwire Tokyo, their next new game. However, he got the MVP of the show, Ikumi Nakamura, the creative director of the game, to come out on stage and go into much more detail about it. It's set in Tokyo in a world where people are randomly just disappearing. Think Thanos when he just snaps his fingers, but the reflections and the ramifications in Tokyo. But you're going to be fighting paranormal ghosts, goblins, and kind of in general mystical being kind of things. And you're basically going to do that as Hawkeye, essentially. Other than that, we don't know too much about it. There's no release date or anything, no platforms, but I think it's pretty safe to say Xbox One, PS4, and PC. They went back to the online section after that because they went back to Elder Scrolls Online. They thanked everyone for playing it. They went over all the accolades of the existing stuff, all their current releases, previous releases and stuff. And they gave a quick outline of what to expect going forward, because they're going to have something called Dragonhold, which will be a big proper, maybe not full expansion tier, but proper update and proper system coming towards the end of the year. And they'll also have something called Scalebreaker Dungeon Expansion, which will launch sooner and probably be a bit more smaller in scale. No details of either of these, but if you're an ESO player, I'm sure you're already keeping your eye on these. Now next up, I don't know what to say about this, so I'm going to say about maybe 10 seconds words about it. But they're making a new Commander Keen game, and it looks like a a modern Saturday morning cartoon, and it's a mobile game on iOS and Android. And let's leave it at that. So at least as something slightly less depressing, they moved on to Elder Scrolls Legends. They outlined and detailed with the name of their new expansion, which will be out later this month on June 27th. It's going to be called Moons of Elsewhere. They'll be including all types of new cards, decks, packs, etc. as well. I'm sure if you're into that, you can look forward to it in a few weeks. You notice that there's not really super hype anything so far, or at least for the majority of the entire Bethesda show. Which is why it was kind of very strange that they announced that Rage 2, a game that just released very, very recently, is going to be an expansion. It's not currently clear if this is going to be a small DLC in a few weeks or a few months, or if it's going to be a large, proper, full-size expansion in 6 months or a year or whatnot. But it's going to be called Rise of the Ghosts. It seems to have some type of new enemy faction. They might be ghosts, they might be zombies, they might be just weird people who kind of drink blood and eat people. But overall, it's going to have new vehicles, new weapons, new areas to explore, new enemies, new story. The kind of thing you'd expect from a new expansion for a single-player game. They also briefly touched on Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, one of 2 Wolfenstein games that they showed off here. It's a VR-only game where you play as a hacker who hacks into all types of big Nazi German machinery, basically giant mechs, and you use that to fight through everything and fight back against the Nazis. It's out next month at some point in July. And then they just recapped a bunch of the stuff that we already know about Wolfenstein Youngblood. 2-player multiplayer co-op, where it's set, who you control, the story, blah blah blah. Not much about it. It's out next month, also in July. Then they got Arcane Studios out on stage to talk about their new game, Deathloop. It's got a real weird 1960s looking aesthetic, which isn't terrible. The black guy's voice, I could not put my finger on the voice actor, which is driving me insane, because I feel like I've heard him in a lot of stuff before. It's kind of unclear how the story and all is going to work right now. It just seems to be assassin versus assassin, and it's got some sort of time loop, where one of them has to maybe defeat the other a certain amount of times, or something like that, to either escape or protect the reality they live in. One is fighting for one is fighting for the other. I'm sure it'll be revealed more in time. It's just a little bit strange right now. And then since it's all the rage nowadays, of course Bethesda had to jump in on the game streaming thing. They're developing something called Bethesda Orion. Naturally, it's a game streaming service, and, well, the server capacity, infrastructure, and blah blah blah, yada 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 to go with it. And they basically promise that you can get native 4K maxed out settings, 60 FPS consistently, pretty much no matter where you live. Even if you're dozens, if not hundreds of miles from the nearest exchange, or everyone in your house is murdering your internet. They brought it out and showed it on stage on a mobile device, which was connected to a controller, which I think was funny because at one point it went massively low resolution and blurry, so they quickly cut away. But more importantly, they ended out the show on the big thing that everyone gave a shit about, that everyone was coming for, and everyone wanted to see this year. We knew we weren't going to see anything related to Starfield. We knew we weren't going to see anything related to Elder Scrolls 6. But what we did want is, after the fantastic return to form that was Doom 2016, everyone was hyped for Doom Eternal, and they delivered. Doom Eternal, they showed it off in depth, a lot of stuff. There's new enemies, new weapons, new glory kills, new traps and environmental kills. The mobility is crazy between all the sliding, between all the grappling hook stuff, as well as a few other ones they showed in there. It looks insane. I literally could not imagine playing this game, or just a game like that, be it Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, a game like that on anything other than a high-end PC with a mouse and keyboard, maxed out quality visuals, and sick frame rate. I just don't know how anyone could be happy with it. They're missing out on so much with a game like this. In typical fashion, they're showing off a giant big collector's edition. It's got a wearable Doom Guy helmet, as well as comes with a bunch of other stuff. Probably won't buy it myself. And most importantly, they have a release date of November 22nd, 2019. I was kind of a little bit worried at this point, because for all I know, I was worried they were putting it out next year, and I did not want to wait. They also quickly showed off Battle Mode, which is one of the new multiplayer modes coming to Doom Eternal. It's an online 2v1 competitive mode. You have 2 player-controlled demons versus 1 beefed up, roided up, armed up Doom guy. You got to be real tactical and real strategic about it. The demons can control certain things, like summon AI lesser demons to help turn the tide of battle, but we'll see how it goes. So that's pretty much it for the Bethesda conference. I found it was very, very lackluster. The only real things in there that interested me in any way, shape, or form was naturally Doom Eternal, which I'm mad hyped for. Wolfenstein Youngblood, I'm a little bit hot on. I don't want to say lukewarm, but I'm a little bit more. But that's pretty much it. Oh, that and Ikumi Nakamura, the MVP of the entire show. Her childlike delight and just her general innocence and her love for the game she was presenting is just the best thing I've seen all year. But anyway, that's it for our Bethesda show recap. Let me know in the comments section below, what were you hyped for? Are you really looking forward to playing Ghostwire Tokyo, Elder Scrolls Online? Are you absolutely foaming at the mouth and rabid to get at Commander Keen because for some reason you're going to love it? Is Deathloop your new reason to live? Are you going to be streaming on Bethesda Orion? Or like me, are you going to rip and tear through Doom Eternal? Let me know all that good stuff in the comments section below. Hit the appropriate button to let me know how I did on the video, and while you're at it, why not head on over and hit the subscribe button and even ring that little notification bell. Granted, getting a notification from YouTube in current year about a new video upload or live stream or whatever is a whole other story, but hey, at least you can say you tried, am I right? As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.